Good evening. We are live right here for another edition of Analyze This Mess. I'm Teddy, and tonight it's D for Danny throws dough under the bus. Analyze this mess because somebody has to say it. Shout out to all of you who are joining me, especially my moderators. I see you, Baby Juju and Vicky Black. We are live right now on Stationhead, D for Danielle. So momentarily, I am going to be shutting off the mics except for music on YouTube. But I just need to set this up and then we will come back. I know it's late. I'm going to do the best that I can to get through this. All right. So give me a second. Okay. Does this sound good? And you know what? Let me go ahead and I'm going to pin this. Let me mute that. Doing a little bit here. Let me go to my YouTube. Just give me a second. So I want to make sure certain things are set. Okay. Now I can see the chat. So let's go ahead and pin this. D for Danielle. All right. So I will let you know when I'm going to play this segment. All right. Let me get a good stretch. All right. I've got my Gatorade. Let's go. All right. So tonight it is D for Danielle throws dough, or Danny throws dough under the bus. So what do I mean by this? Let's talk about what just went down. Danielle, who has spent months dodging questions about aliases, fake filings, ghost accounts, and shadow strategies, finally, I'm going to say, snapped. This is my impression. This is fair use commentary. It's my opinion. This after Kimmy called out this mystery letter that was, sent to the courts in her federal case, and reminded folks that the judge in my case struck down John Doe's AI generated brief. Yes. And then Danielle went live. And boy, did she, I will say, this is my impression, at least her response was a little unglued. She says, I'm not John Doe. John Doe did things I wouldn't even do. That's a man. Lord have mercy. Like, that makes it believable. But here's the truth. You don't spend 5 full minutes denying you're someone unless people are starting to believe you are. And in that denial, well, she gave some things away. She says she only speaks for Danielle Robertson, but then she critiques Doe's filings, details what Doe did, how Doe writes, and practically dissects Doe's, well, I'll just say a comment or filing. Now, tell me, if she's not John Doe, how come she knows so much about Doe's every move? Hmm. I'm talking about, the filings. I tell you what, I want to show something, but I'll do it right after this. All right, so some of you are already on Stationhead in the chat. The link is at the top. All you have to do is click on it. All right. I want you to just hear something she said in a 5.5 hour live today. I'm just focusing on what she said in reference to Doe tonight. You know what? There's a lot in there. And I said I wanted to show you something before we go over. All right, so that it'll make it. You know what? Let me see if I want to show it first before I get into it. I'll wait till we come back because just playing this part, it won't take long. What I was going to show is, from the docket, the order striking non-party John Doe's objections, 46, 47, and why the court did this. Well, let me just show you. Okay. It was an objection that was stricken. This was in my case, ECF 4647. It's right here in the document. Since Danielle wants to talk about Chat GPT and AI generated. And she actually mentioned Kimmy and she mentioned myself and said that Chat GPT is our attorneys. But it was first noticed here in my case, and Kimmy made a reference to this. Okay. Doe's objections will be stricken. First, Doe's objections cite non existing, seemingly AI generated authority. Doe makes several references, to these various sites. Okay. Navarro versus Sedgwick. Different claims. All right. I'll just go again. This case does not exist. All right. Rather than reading all of it, I'll go to the next paragraph. This non existent case has the hallmarks generated by AI found in other courts. Then the judge cites other examples or cases. It is no secret that generative AI programs are known to hallucinate non existing cases, and with the advent of AI, courts have seen a rash of cases in which both counsel and pro se litigants have cited such fake hallucinated cases in their briefs. Okay. I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay. So join me over on Stationhead, and I will let you hear what she had to say. It'll just take a couple of minutes. Although she said a lot about different things with respect to the letter, the case. It's an interesting what I listen to. But again, I'm just going to focus on a section of it, a portion. Okay. So let me put up my clock. We'll do that. Because we're going to come back real quick. Let's put this up. Hang on, hang on. Give me a second. All right. Almost there, guys. Hang on. All right. On three, two, one. All right, so we are back here on YouTube. I'm going to give my commentary on this D for Danny throws dough under the bus. Give me one moment. All right, speaking of AI, right? I decided to process Danielle's statement using AI to break down what she said. This is fair use commentary. It's for education, criticism, and entertainment purposes only. It's fair use commentary, my opinions, my reaction, my analysis, as are your opinions that you put in the chat. Please be respectful. It is 12:30, so it won't take long. Is everybody back? Okay. I will read your comments after I just say a few words. Okay. And tell you what AI had to say. This breakdown of Daniel Robertson's statement. Okay. So the overall interpretation to start off with is that Danielle suggests she might help others when she implied John Doe or others involved in filings draft legal materials to make sure it's right. AI says this is an admission of behind the scenes influence, which could contradict her claims of being uninvolved. It might also undermine claims of her independence between John Doe and herself. This is AI. As a matter of fact, I'm reading some of these things. Maybe some I will hold off. This next statement of hers. I'm a very person that is organized. Don't look at my stuff. I submit to the court. It's not all over the place and crazy. You heard her say that. Like, don't look at others. Hers is not all over the place and crazy. Is she implying that others are? What's the interpretation that AI sees here? She's drawing a contrast between her filings and John Doe's, implying hers are professional, while Doe's may not be. However, it's her phrasing that is jumbled. I'm a very person that's organized. That's how she says it, which undermines the image she's trying to project. This also indirectly admits that she's monitoring public perception of the filings, which speaks to the intent and psychological investment. I mean, she brought this up, she talked about it. And she came back and said, point fingers, you're using AI, you're using Chat GPT to Kimmy. She pointed that out and said, that's your lawyer. This also indirectly, it says, again, admitting that she's behind the scenes or public perception of her filing. So, if someone's thinking that she is writing these letters, the John Doe. She wanted to make it clear, no, when you're looking at the filings, only look at Danielle Robertson. Okay. Here's another quote from her. And y'all need to stop saying this and stop saying that. I am not John Doe. John Doe has done things I would not even do for starters. Okay. That was an interesting statement. AI says this is a classic deflection technique by saying, I'm not John Doe, while emphasizing he's done things I wouldn't even do. She's unintentionally validates that she knows what John Doe has done, tries to preserve distance while acknowledging specific awareness, and leave room for doubt that doesn't say, I'm not John Doe. Her denial is qualified, not categorical. Now I'm going to pause right here. Let me look at your comment, and I'm going to continue. It's just a little bit more. Cub says, when you use AI against the what is it, bot, it really makes my heart smile. Okay. All right, let me continue reading these last few. Again, this is AI doing the analysis. I'm reading and I'm also asking questions as well. Like, I'll wait, I'll tell you. Okay, let me go back to AI. Because this is quite fascinating. Here's another statement that she made. I only talk about Danielle Robertson and what I submitted. Don't post a document from John Doe and say, this is what this said. That's John Doe. I'm not John Doe. That's a man. Lord have mercy. Well, John Doe, under the bus you go. Here's the interpretation from AI. The insistence here comes across as overcompensating, repeating, I'm not John Doe, while reacting, Lord have mercy, viscerally, showing that she's emotionally triggered, likely because Kimmy hit a nerve by calling attention to the use of Chat GPT ECF 46, the one that I showed you, the one that was struck. And she brought up the fact that it was the judge who called out the AI and the use of it. While she, on the other hand, Danielle is calling out the use of AI. Is that deflection? Well, she wanted people to know it was John Doe that was called out for using AI. So don't get it mixed up. She may feel exposed. This is AI saying this. Or accidentally implicated, or because the court striking ECF 46 has real legal consequences that affect her strategy. Okay. How about this one? Quote, go talk to John Doe about that. The F? The interpretation is abrupt vulgarity. Here, it's meant to intimidate or shut down the discussion, not clarify the facts. It suggests frustration on her part, loss of control, and even defensiveness. It's the opposite of what someone confident in their innocence would do. Again, this is interpreted. I just put the entire statement in before and after, and AI is interpreting it. Okay. How about this next one? You heard it. My submissions by Danny Robertson. I'm going to be meticulous. I'm going to be strategic. Spend a lot of time on what I'm submitting. The interpretation here is that Danielle tries to reclaim authority, emphasizing effort and strategy. But this contradicts earlier statements where she distances herself from legal matters or blames third party chaos. It's like, gotta maintain control. What do people think about this? This is how I do things. And then she's emphasizing this. She's strategic about it because she says she has a strategy. Everything that she does. But AI says it's contradicting her earlier statement. So this would raise questions. If she's so strategic and focused, my question, why is she live streaming in emotional outbursts about, certain things that are filed in a court documents? And even in her history about sealed court document filings. Why is she acknowledging John Doe's behavior at all? Here's a quote. I have no responsibility for what somebody else submits. The F. What is the interpretation by AI Chat GPT? It says here, this line is key. She's asserting deniability, but the tone betrays anxiety. In legal strategy, denying responsibility without being asked to do so. This is important. So she's denying responsibility without being asked to do so preemptively is often a sign of guilt or fear of discovery. Fair use commentary for education criticism. We are using AI to assist in this analysis. This next one. So, when you come with the document, make sure it's from Danny Robertson. A lot of y'all bees like, oh, look at what they're saying. That's John Doe. That ain't me. Under the bus you go. I know y'all would love for it to be me, but it's not. The interpretation. It's the tone here is combative and emotionally charged. She again tries to draw a clear line, but the repetition reveals internal doubt. This phrasing, I know y'all would love for it to be me, suggests she knows there are overlapping patterns or suspicions. Now, I'm going to read a few of your comments and then I'm going to wrap it up with some strategic takeaways, and that will do it for Analyze This Mess, because somebody has to say it. You know, one of the things that she did, this is just an aside, just to let you know in case you didn't see it, she showed the letters that she downloaded. She downloaded the letters. Um, I believe it was ECF numbers 22 and maybe 25 that were stricken. So if you go to the docket, the letters are not there. Okay. She showed the first letter, a portion of it first. Again, I didn't watch all of the video. I only watched a portion of it, specifically when she was speaking about, the court documents, John Doe. But there is a lot in this video. I can tell that there are probably a lot of things that she says that are quite telling. On the top of the letter, the header, there's a fax. Remember, she posted, this letter was faxed to the court. Who faxed it? No one's talking about that. Oh, she says basically, the judge it's been what? Stricken. So it doesn't matter. No, not to the case because it's out, but there's still one or two questions. And if you listen to what she said, her interpretation of who wrote it, a little background. Who faxed the letter to the court? That's right. Who faxed it? And where was it faxed from? She showed this in her video. It's right there. Oh, yes. And why did the girl delete her page? That's a good question, Cub says. There's a lot of questions just about behavior. So I'm just looking at this from a different perspective. It's human behavior. And you can see how it's evolved and why now. So she's got to say something about this, right? Got to say something about it because people are talking about it. People are getting monetized off of it. People are, I'll just say, how do I, prolonging it. How about if I use those words? But she says it was, in her opinion, AI generated chat GBT wrote it. And it was between the mom and daughter. Some people are saying that mother is the aunt. I don't know. I have no proof of that. I just heard that. But the two, yeah, Kat and her mother. And she's satisfied with that. And she said it really doesn't matter which one wrote the letter because basically they're a team. You know, they would have each other's interests in mind. You know, that's her mother, right? Hmm. So who faxed it? Somebody faxed that letter. So the person or the chat GPT, whoever wrote it, got it to the person, would have sent it to them, emailed it to them, right? Somehow electronically transmitted the letter that was drafted or written. Why didn't they email it or fax it? Is it because they didn't have a fax machine, a home fax machine? I'm at the end of it. I'm like, but who faxed it? See, the person who faxed it was involved, right? Yeah, for sure. I mean, at least faxing it. Who would that be? Hmm. Let me read a few of your comments. And I said I would wrap it up. Wow, it's 12:52. Um, hmm. Let me go up to the top. You know, at the beginning of the video, she talked a lot about um, what's going on or not going on in Kimmy's case. Yeah. hmm She said she wasn't served, and Google subpoena. Yeah, I'm not going to go through too much of it because I didn't listen to all of it. I'm sticking to this. Uh, D for Danny throws dough under the bus, and AI. She says the letter was AI generated. Hmm, okay. It couldn't be her because it's she's too meticulous. It didn't even have she said an ending, like a did she show the part? I'd have to look. Yeah. I'd have to look. But I don't know. John Doe? Jane Doe? Who's to say that something couldn't be intentional? In other words, that a letter could be written to appear like someone else wrote it, different from your style. Mm. Or, now there's AI, right? Call her out. She doesn't want to be called out on the AI. Mm. No, I couldn't watch it either, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. Yeah, I do. Hmm. What is this? Funny how she submitted paperwork to the court at the same time of John Doe and Mama that want to be daughter in YouTube drama. Perfect timing or perfect setup or gone wrong. You know, the timing is interesting um, in all of this. You could say coincidental, but it's just curious. All of a sudden, this activity all around this same time frame. She was busy in June, submitting things in various cases. Let's not forget in my case, in Kimmy's case, but let's not forget there was Maggie too during that 2-week period in June. So there was a lot going on. Hmm. Yeah. It's not me. Haven't seen you in a minute. Says the daughter you think is lying. Fake mom, aunt, and other minions are all in on that 40-page letter. From what I could see, the first letter is 9 pages, which included um, attachments. The second one, I don't know how many pages it was. Yeah, I didn't read it all. Yeah. I didn't listen to that part all either. Sharon says, I didn't read either letter. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It's kind of interesting what whoever wrote this letter, because even if AI wrote it, you have to give AI, a start, like information. I mean, you could just say, write me a letter, but AI would say a letter about what? So you have to give it something, right? A mama? I don't know. Who faxed it? And where was it faxed from? And why did she delete? Yeah, the page, Faxgate, connect the dots. Why were so many people in on this? I don't know. What is this? No, I'm trying to figure out something. Okay. I know, my. This is a lot. Well, it's certainly more than I want to tackle. I just wanted to touch on this John Doe angle. Complicated. One of them is there a proxy? What is this? That's interesting. You say they used Cat and they wanted her or them to write the letter so it wouldn't come off as John Doe. Again, it's your opinion. How did they all get together? I had the same kind of question, like no loyalty. Email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. A new question. And why did they want to give the information set up to Rich to put it out? More than one proxy. Um, if I were to guess, just in general, the more people you have involved in something like that, the harder it is to pin someone. Mhm. The more confused it is, the more questions people might ask, and to throw off the scent. To throw off the scent. Mhm. One of them is a mole for sure. Hmm. Let me check email and then I'll wrap this up. So, what do you think? John Doe, John Doe, Jane Doe. You'd have to read some of the filings to know where's that same energy. Um, Now for John Doe's writings, when it's like, I didn't do it. Oh, that's not me. I'm meticulous. I'm professional. Hmm. But there was energy for other things. Hmm. Yeah. I won't say. And yes, don't forget to check on Wine with Teddy community wall for updates and changes to my schedule. And yes, loyal supporters, we appreciate you. Cups ends it by saying, I think Shaky is the man and the woman because that's what she showed the people. She can be both. Well, when you're anonymous, see, that's the thing. When you are anonymous, you can be anything you want to be. I don't know. I can't answer why the wait. I'm still waiting to get answers. So nothing in either case is closed, right? I'm waiting for response simply on my show cause. All right. I'm waiting to see if my case is going to move forward. Kimmy is waiting for a decision on default judgment. Mhm. Yes, she can be both John Doe and Jane Doe. We don't know that. That's right. When you have tape on your screen, you can be whoever you want to be. Yeah. All right. It's 1 a.m. It's 1:05 to be exact. Let me just wrap this up with a summary. I'll just say this without going through, more points. Is, how should I say this? Improperly named? How does she frame it? Distancing herself from John Doe? She did admit that she told Kat, clear her name. I'm just thinking through this. There was a lot of deflection. It was a mix of narrative control. That's what I want to say. It was a mix of narrative control, public distancing, and strategic contradictions. I think there was also some emotional manipulation and a fight to maintain a certain image, PR. Yeah. But there's some inconsistency though between the logic and the tone. So I'm still a little suspicious. Yeah. Man. I can be. But then it's my channel. So again, she says she's too meticulous to be behind the letter, too detached to care, and too strategic to be caught. But here she is, parsing the filings and saying with a loud voice, I'm not John Doe. I could say something else, but I'll hold through there. All right. That's going to do it for me for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this 1 hour and 13 minutes. Join me sometime tomorrow when I come back. Yes, that's how I will leave it. I'm really trying to say things, but not. Something is a little suspicious to me, but well, we'll just have to leave it that way. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.
So don't you tell me I am selfish just because I look out for myself. I've been happy, working hard, so I won't have to cry when I'm older. I could have done this or that. I remember when I used to. Don't do it cause it doesn't work. I'd rather tell her, shoot your shots. I did it, so I know you got this. We're all living for manifest. You'll get your dreams, just do your best. So don't you tell me I am helpless just because I'm searching for myself. I've been happy, working hard, just so I can say I told you so. I told you so. I don't need your approval to be myself. I got that on myself. Gracefully, gotta keep it cozy. I'ma take it slowly, one step at a time till my time is up. Why you stay mad at me? We gon' make mistakes, we gon' disagree. Are you too proud of me? If you just wait and see, you gon' rise. So don't you tell me I am selfish just because I look out for myself. I've been happy, working hard, so I won't have to cry when I'm older. I could have done this or that. I remember when I used to. Don't do it cause it doesn't work. I'd rather tell you, shoot your shot. I did it, so I know you got this. We're all living for manifest. You'll get your dreams, just do your best. So don't you tell me I am helpless just because I'm searching for myself. I've been happy, working hard, just so I can say I told you so. I told you so.